Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys had a good break and enjoyed our last session. Our next session is going to be featuring Chris again, and we actually have a really special guest today, the one and only Ted Unkel. So I don't think we need to introduce them anymore. We all know them. I think we can all visualize Ted's penalty kick signal in our minds right now. So please welcome them and enjoy this next session. Chris, Ted, all yours.
Thank you, Isad, and Ted. Welcome. As the former host of Fireside Chats, where we've already received questions asking about A, where is the fireplace, and B, why is your shirt buttoned up?
Yeah, that's a good question there, Chris. Isad, thanks for having me this morning. I really appreciate it. I wanted to sit outside if I could, just to give a little of envy to the rest of the country, but the fireplace is go that way. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Ted. Thank you for joining me as my special guest today. Ted's a dear friend. The Unkels are close friends of the Penso family. The Unkels are also one of our 2 quarantine families for the previous year. It pains me to say it's been that long. We've spent plenty of time together during quarantine, during the pandemic. So there's a great deal of satisfaction I have in Ted joining us to discuss handling, which is today's technical topic, handling offenses. And as many of you know, you're going to see NISOA branding on the slide, but handling is one of the things now that's pretty much dead in line with FIFA's interpretation. So the latest round of NCAA rule changes, NCAA brought over all of the wording from IFAB regarding handling. So we're going to dive into that today. So the things you hear on this presentation, while it is NISOA branding and a lot of the clips are NISOA, it's the same application on the other side with FIFA. So Lon, if you don't mind, on to our agenda for today. We're going to start with a video quiz. We've got 9 videos. After each pops up, there will be a poll, and just take a quick answer so we can get where the group's at, gauge where the group's at on these clips. And then Ted and I will run through all the actual wording on the rules and all the considerations that we use to decide whether or not it is a handling offense. A quick dive into misconduct and where that applies. And then we're going to switch over to a webinar link, or I'm sorry, a meeting link, Zoom meeting link. So we can do breakout rooms, and Ted and I would love for all of you to engage and discuss the clips that you'll see on the video quiz, the same 9 clips. We'd like everybody to use the considerations that Ted and I will go through to see if you can sway members of your group who voted one way on the poll into voting a different way. And then Ted and I will go through the clip analysis and what the expected decisions are on those 9 clips, and then we'll end with a quick recap.
Hey, Chris, real quick, if I could take the first one here, that picture, that's handling.
Ted, you're pretty good at this. And it probably excites you that that's handling, because that's probably the penalty area, and we all know what you like to do.
It's when it happens, it happens.
That's right. When it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
All right. So video quiz time. You'll be shown a video, and then if everything works right, you'll be shown a poll to give us your decision. Clip 1. Replay's coming up here in a second. All right, so that should be clip 1. Do we have Doug, do we have the option to do the polls in between each videos, or if we can, it's okay. Hey, there it is. Handling clip 1. Ted, you and I, as panelists, are not allowed to vote. Just so you know. But I think I know what your answer is.
I think I know the answer on this one.
About 10 seconds, get your vote in. If you want, and you have a pen and paper at home, feel free to write down your answer just so you have it. Moving on to clip 2.
Chris, write down the polling results because I can't save them.
Got it.
By the way, Chris, this is great effort by the Butler defender on this play.
That is clip 2, 15 seconds. Get your answer in. Like I said, write it down in case you can't remember what you put. On to clip 3. That's clip 3. Clip 3 poll coming up here in a second. Oh, the video's playing. This is clip 4. There's a replay, so don't be worried.
It's pretty excellent referee position here.
I mean, you can't get a better view, right?
You can't.
Do we have a clip poll?
Yeah, that poll for the previous.
We need a poll for clip 4. Clip 4. And then we can move forward one, clip 5. Here we go, clip 5, everybody. Clip 5, poll. Clip 6. These next 4 clips are a different part of the rule. Now we're moving into attacker handball.
You know, I was going to say, Chris, is before we switched over, how impressive it is, the amount of opportunity that games are on TV, college or otherwise, that we're getting the high quality clips with replays and stuff. We didn't have that 5 years ago, 3 years ago. You know?
Yeah, the world we live in now, there's no hiding, right?
Yeah. And in this game here, he has another TV he's obviously walking away from.
All right, clip 6 offense. The question here is no offense or attacker handball. On to clip 7. And 7 poll. Clip 8. Clip 8 poll. Last but not least, to be fresh in everybody's minds, clip 9. All right. And then moving into considerations. So now we've taken a quiz. Everybody's got their answers in. We'll dive into considerations and what we use to determine whether or not a handball offense has been committed. Starting with this lovely picture, now in 21. For the purpose of determining handball offenses, the upper boundary of the arm is in line with the bottom of the armpit. So if the ball strikes a player in the green portion here in the picture, there's obviously no offense. That is part of the shoulder. But if the ball strikes a portion of the red part, then that portion would be handball if other considerations are met. On next slide, please. It is an offense if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, including moving the hand or arm towards the ball. If a player scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper, and these are the attacker handball clips that we just showed. And then after the ball has touched their or a teammate's hand or arm, even if accidental, immediately scores the opponent's goal or creates a goal scoring opportunity. On the next slide. Ted, I'll let you take it if you're okay.
Keep going. I got my 5-year-old needing something real quick.
Hey, Quinn. Handling considerations continue. It is an offense if a player touches the ball with their hand or arm when the hand or arm is unnaturally bigger and made so by the player's deliberate action, where the hand or arm is above their shoulder level, unless the player has deliberately played the ball, which then touches the hand or arm. The above offenses apply even if the ball touches the player's hand or arm directly from the head or body, including the foot of another player who is close. Right. So the things we take into consideration here, if an arm is well above the shoulder and the ball strikes it, generally speaking, it is an offense. However, if a defender, let's say a defender has kicked the ball, the intent of the player is to kick a ball with a foot, the ball comes off the foot into the arm, which is along in the natural movement of the kicking motion, then generally speaking, there is no offense. Ted, anything to add here?
No, the difficulty here is truly if he's deliberately tried to do that, and the lower the level of soccer we go, the more challenging that is to make that decision in the scheme of things, right? The professional player is expected to control his body a lot more than, say, a youth player here, but the intent is written out. So you have to go with what law is.
Next slide, please. When we talk about the goalkeeper has the same restrictions that any other player has when he or she is outside the penalty area. So if the goalkeeper handles the ball inside their penalty area when not permitted to do so, an indirect free kick is awarded. But there is no disciplinary action or sanction. However, if the offense is playing a ball a second time, with or without the hand or arm, even if the goalkeeper kicks the ball a second time, after a restart, before it touches another player, we have to take into account that the goalkeeper must be sanctioned if the offense is foul or dogso. So the goalkeeper can be shown a yellow or red card in the event that they play the ball a second time after a restart without the ball touching anybody else. Ted, anything here?
No, we had a great clip of this at camp. It doesn't happen often, right? That this stuff happens, kind of like the clip we were sending around last night with the referee in the middle of the penalty area stopping a goal, but that's another story to be talking about. But this has happened, and certainly we have to take it into consideration.
Yep. So we got to be prepared for it. It may or may not happen in your career, but it will happen to somebody. It might happen to somebody that you're on a crew with, right? So knowing the little points of this rule are going to be crucial to getting decisions right on the field. I know there's some comments in the chat about the videos maybe being choppy when we showed them for the video quiz. Just keep in mind here in a little bit, we will share a link to Dropbox where this is going to be crucial for the breakout sessions, where everybody can go grab this presentation so you can source the videos if you need to for your discussions. So just to get everybody to calm down a bit. You will have access to look at the videos on your own device once Ted and I are done going through the considerations here and giving you guys all the information you need to know to get to the right decision.
Sure. You put that Dropbox. Sorry, Chris. You put that Dropbox link already in the chat, correct?
I put it in for us, Ted. It'll be shared with the group here in a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yep. Lana, next slide. Thank you. Ted, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So, like, except for the previous offenses, as this reads out, it's not an offense if it plays directly from the player's own head or body, including the foot. That's a controlled header. That would be the arm when they're, the best example is when they're trying to raise up and they're heading into their own arm directly from the head or body, including the foot of another player who is close. Or we bring proximity into the decision. The hand or arm is close to the body, and that's more of where we talk about the natural position of the body and not making your body unnaturally bigger, as it says here. And then when a player falls and the hand arm is between the body and the ground to support the body, I think we had an example in some of the videos that were polling earlier in that Butler Georgetown game that lends to this part of law.
Keep going, man. You're doing great.
Well, thanks, Chris. I just picked up on this refereeing thing a little while ago. So, the misconduct application, the one thing that is an absolute is a handling on a shot on goal is yellow, and it's the reason behind it is SPA. When we're filling out our game reports, they have to be as accurate as possible. I know that we get challenged on ours, and there's protestable situations there where if the drop-down box doesn't say what we were on the field, man, they grab that really quick. So know that a shot on goal stopped by handling offense is always cautionable for SPA.
Yep, and you'll notice that some of those clips were in the quiz, right? So if you guys get to your group discussions and you need to raise your hand and say, hey, I might have messed this one up, feel free to do that. The other thing to keep in mind here, and this answer gets put into quizzes on these clips sometimes, is shot on goal and the ball is handled by a defender. The result is penalty kick and yellow card for SPA. If the goalkeeper obviously is still in the net, there cannot be a red card for dog so. Even if you are dead certain that the ball's probably going in. If the goalkeeper's still back, the outcome is yellow card for SPA for shot on goal. Just something to keep in mind. Lana, next slide, please. Group discussion. It is time. So here in a second, there will be a link sent out. We're going to flip over to Zoom meeting where breakout rooms have been set up. I think there's going to be 40, 50 of you in each room. And there will be a moderator in each room. Ted and I will be floating through to make sure that everybody's conversations are moving along in the right direction and nobody's off the reservation, so to speak, for about 15 minutes. And then we will reconvene and go through what Ted and I have come up with. And NISOA agrees with us that should be the expected outcome for each clip. So if everybody will click on the link below, it will take us over to a new meeting. Ted, welcome back.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome back to you. I felt bouncing around the rooms. It felt like kind of when you're mentoring at a tournament, there's 20 fields and you have to be there for 3.5 minutes and hope to see something,
And you have to touch every field at every time slot, right?
Yeah.
That's right. We're up to 3:11. It is 12:09, 11:09 Central. Lana, if you want to throw the presentation back up, if you don't mind. Ted and I will dive through some analysis here. We're going to go into clip 1 review. You guys had a lot of good discussion on this. The poll results had 57% of you at no offense. You're probably not going to like the answer that we give you. And this is NISOA's stance on this clip. So the defender makes a conscious decision. If you watch the video, and I guess before I dive into that, I know a lot of the groups had trouble accessing the videos. The Dropbox link, we try to get it out to everybody. That'll be available to everybody. I'll make sure that gets to everybody as part of TVRA, so you guys can download the PowerPoint. You can play the clips from the PowerPoint. Everybody will have it. You guys can keep it, do whatever you want with it. But that way you'll have the videos going moving forward. In this clip, the defender, if you'll notice, makes a conscious decision and deliberate effort to put his left arm behind him but leave his right arm out, which in and of itself doesn't sound very natural. So this action, we feel, makes the defender unnaturally bigger, even though you can contest that his arm is in a natural position. But the problem here is, how is one arm out and one arm not? So for us, we have an action that makes himself unnaturally bigger while creating a barrier for the shot. And these are the terms we look for and use when deciding whether or not a handling offense has occurred. And since this is a shot on goal based on instruction, the restart is a penalty kick and a yellow card for Spa, because the goalkeeper is still obviously in the net. So Ted, anything to add here?
Yeah, I mean, I can see where it could be a little deceptive that most of the camera view is coming from this side angle where you don't know how far away from the body that arm truly is. But you make a great point that, hey, we're, one's in, one's out. It's not a proximity thing here. He has the ability to shape his body, has time to shape his body. Secondly, here, time on the clock is not a consideration for not calling penalty. I know it's kind of a separate little topic, but the pressures of the game are always going to be there. First minute, last minute, considerations for handling or considerations for handling, and 29 seconds left in a match where it may decide an outcome or not decide an outcome. The decision still has to be made.
Yep, that's it, and that's a really good point. That years back, I got feedback from a mentor who said the best referees have the courage to make some of the most unpopular decisions, right? And this is certainly an unpopular decision, given a penalty with less than a minute to go in a game. So for us, penalty and yellow card for Spa. Clip two. Clip two review is the defender going to ground. So in the poll, 56% of the group has no offense, and 38% of the group have penalty with no misconduct. So for us, the defender goes to ground in an effort to defend the attacker's ability to cross the ball. The left arm, you'll see when you watch the video, the left arm is being used as a support arm. And I was in a group that said, his arm's not yet on the ground. The support arm doesn't yet have to be on the ground. We just have to determine which arm is a player using as his support arm. And the ball strikes the arm. His arm is not extended laterally or vertically away from the body, which are the criteria we use to make sure the support arm is being used in a legal and fair manner. So for us here, the final decision is no offense. Ted, anything to add?
Yeah, I think for a long period of time, we talked about the defender taking a risk, and if it hits his arm, hey, he took the risk to do it. And when law changed, when law was more clarified for something like this, I think I was in a room just with a little bit of that feedback. If you take that sliding defender and you put him straight up, is that in an unnatural position? And I think that's where IFAB was going with the bracing arm. Plus, you need somewhere to put that there. It's a very harsh thing to give a guy who's just retreated back, and there's nowhere else to go there. So another note on that: bracing arm can become a non-bracing arm the longer he slides. If that arm stays on the ground and now is laterally long, you stand that guy up or that player up, that arm's above. That would be handling, but that's not the case here.
Yep, very good point. Very good point. So final decision, no offense. Lana, clip 3 review, please. And I'm going to let Ted fly with this one. This is an easy one.
This is an easy one. In the year of 2020, 2021, 2022, whatever, your arms are above your shoulder, and it's going to be a problem if the ball hits it. And that's exactly what happens here. The defender brings both arms above the shoulder. Obviously, there's nothing natural above that. That barrier is way too obvious, and not as similar or not just like the Paul Scholes, not that bad, but it's egregious, and we need to be able to recognize this. It's the expected decision there because of that arm above the shoulder.
Yep, it's an easy one, right? It's
and then real quick, because it's not a shot. Sorry, not a shot. Then we're not talking about misconduct.
Yep, very good. So final decision, penalty kick, no card. And the group was mostly aligned on this. We had 70% come back with penalty, no card, right? And that's where we want to land. So I think that makes Ted and I happy that we're going in the right direction here. Clip 4. I think it's another fairly simple one. As far as the poll, we've got about 60% of the group comes back with penalty, yellow card. And then the three other answers, about 10, 20% in each of those categories. We talked in the considerations, arm away from the body, arm towards the ball. So the referee here, we have to point out the referee's in the ideal position. I think Ted said this when the clip was played. The referee couldn't possibly have a better look here. So she's got a good look of the free kick and of the players in the wall. The defender deliberately moves her arms towards the path of the ball. And then there was some discussion in the groups about, she's going to protect her face. And in some of the youth games, right, this might not be an offense, but the thing to keep an eye on here is her arms aren't actually here. Her arms are slightly away, and it's movement towards the ball. So the expected decision here is a penalty kick. And since it's a shot on goal and the goalkeeper's still in the net, because I know we had a few people vote penalty red card, the consideration here is yellow card for Spa, shot on goal, goalkeeper still in the net.
Yeah, and we give a little bit we give a little bit of deference if the protection, we come in here and it's going to hit the body after, if it didn't hit the arms in there and you're tight within the body. But like Chris is saying, like this may be a natural reaction to protect yourself, but it's arms moving to the ball, and that's creating the barrier to stop the shot on goal.
Yeah. Moving on to a tough one, clip 5. And this is one where I think the groups really need to have access to the video if you slow it down. It's an extremely difficult decision that is correctly made by the referee. So when the defender here in black, the shot's taken, the defender turns away. If you play the video, you'll notice that when she turns away, her right arm is tucked, but her left arm comes out. Anybody have that backwards? But one of the arms is tucked and one of the arms is away from the body, and the ball actually strikes the arm that is away from the body. That makes herself bigger and creates a barrier. So the left, like it reads here, the left arm has been left out and makes herself bigger and creates a barrier. So the expected decision here is a penalty kick and yellow card for Spa. I think after everybody has access to the presentation and is able to take the video and kind of go frame by frame, it's tough to pick up in the video quiz. But when you slow it down and look at it and notice that the ball strikes the left arm, we do have an offense. If the ball strikes her right arm, which is tucked tight to her body, then obviously we have no handball offense. She hasn't done anything to make herself unnaturally bigger. But since the left arm has been left out, the expected decision here is penalty kick and yellow card. Ted, anything to add?
No, except that defender from Atlanta and now plays in Miami. He loves doing this stuff all the time, right? He's like, just enough. He holds it out there, just enough. This does prove this is a great thing that does prove. Hey, we have to be lateral on our movement as a referee to catch this, because as Chris says, this is a difficult decision that would be kind of off our normal diagonal, if you want to use the old term, and on the farther side of the body of the defender. But we have to pick this up, and that would even be difficult for an assistant referee to see as he's looking across the field or she's looking across the field.
Absolutely. And the group was kind of split. We had 64% of the group say no offense. And hopefully I test that to, maybe you just watch the clip and you think the ball strikes her right arm, but it actually does strike her left. So we had 21% with PK and then 13% with PK and yellow card. So moving on to clip 6, moving into the attacker handball part of this presentation. This one I think is fairly straightforward. The deliberate nature of the attacker's actions are debatable, but the very first touch after the ball strikes the hand or arm is a successful shot on goal, right? So this would be a clear example of what we define as immediate, and as such, the attacker is guilty of an attacker handball offense. Move on to, I should say the poll results, I think also show how simple this clip was. We had 91% of the group vote for attacker handball. So that's good.
By the way, Chris, real quick, the 2:45 p.m. Eastern time presenter says that is a handling offense anywhere on the field, but I'll defer to him in a couple hours.
He can take that up later.
Yes.
All right, moving on to clip 7. Another clip here, attacker attempts to head the ball, but is last touched by his hand or arm and goes directly to a teammate with an open goal. And since the teammate's second touch after the handling offense, or the ball striking the hand or arm, is a shot on goal, this is an immediate opportunity. And here we have another example of attacker handball. The group wasn't quite as aligned here. We had 56% say attacker handball and 44% say no offense. But this is fairly immediate. while it's may not be deliberate, the benefit that is gained by the attacking team here has to be punished as it does meet the definition of immediate. Ted, anything to add?
Yeah, once they've added accidental to the wording of law for an attacking handball, we just have to determine if it's in its arm, in whatever fashion. And then the immediate decision is probably the most difficult. Here it's not, right? Ball goes into net. Gareth Bale, say it's an attacking handball, that ball goes in the net. And it goes to a teammate and that's such. But man, with the further you back off, and I think we have a clip coming up next where that decision needs to be made, that there's no question that it actually hits the arm. It doesn't have an immediate impact and so on. But please go with that.
No, perfect. 2 left, on to 8. So the clip 8 poll results, a little better. We had 75% of the group say attacker handball, and we had 25% say no offense. So here you'll notice how far away from goal this play is. Just even looking at the still shot here, the ball comes off the player's leg and into the arm, which is in a natural playing position. The purple team here has ample time and players to defend the change in possession, and there are too many touches, and then the chance is created. This chance is not immediate. So in our opinion, because of all of that, there is no offense. Now, if you want to argue about the deliberate nature of the offense, okay, fine. But in our opinion, there's no deliberate action here. It's not, and for us, it's accidental. And the accidental handling here is not does not have an immediate impact or immediate goal scoring opportunity. So final decision, no offense. Ted, anything?
Yeah, no, you made a good point. It's not immediate. So now we need to determine if it was deliberate motion or not, where you can say that Bale probably was earlier. This one is not.
Perfect. And then last but not least, from just about a week ago or so, Club World Cup final. The ball's played in. The attacker attempts to head the ball, but it comes off his arm directly to a teammate who shoots into an open net. While the handball is clearly accidental, and he attempted to head the ball first, it doesn't matter in the attacking side of things. Even though the ball strikes the arm accidentally, it goes to a teammate immediately who shoots and scores on goal. So this satisfies the immediate consideration for attacker handball, and as such should be penalized with a direct free kick coming out. Ted, anything?
Yeah, this same afternoon, Sandra wrapped up his performance at the World Cup a few hours prior to this and did an amazing job there. This is a really interesting play because I think there was some discussion in some of the groups about did it hit the goalkeeper? The goalkeeper have something, and it just purely comes down. Doesn't hit Lewandowski's arm. That falls to a teammate and then it goes in the back of the net. So the play itself ended up going to VAR because of an offside decision. And we've got really focused in on the offside decision and then kind of lost a little bit of focus on the handling decision. So I'm with you, and I think the agreement around the soccer world is this goal should have never stood.
Yep.
And that'd be in the game-winning goal too, right?
Yeah, game-winning goal. Tigres lose to Bayern 1-0. All right, that is it. On the next slide, that wraps it up. Any questions for Ted and I? We have a couple minutes. I would be remiss if I did not mention, now that we're in the first few weeks of the spring, aka fall 2020 college soccer season, that the bi-weekly NISOA Terry Vaughn Referee of the Week Award is ongoing. So if any of you on here are assigners, feel free to recommend. I just recommended some names for the next week. And then I challenge all of you to keep working hard so that maybe your name is put in the hat for the Terry Vaughn Referee of the Week award from NISOA. And I will open it up to questions. Doesn't seem to be much in the Q&A. There's a question from Caleb. If players get one arm to brace themselves, how do you pick the arm they are allowed? On the slide tackle in the Butler clip, his left arm conveniently covers an area that he isn't able to cover otherwise. And I think we determine this based on which arm naturally goes to ground first. Ted, anything different to add there?
No, you're right. I think it's what goes to the ground first. And there's always going to be one. It'd be interesting to see if defender actually slid, kind of head first. That'd be something for discussion when it happens, and I'm sure it will because everything happens in soccer.
Yep. All right. And seeing that we are overtime, and Ted and I have some places to be this afternoon, we will wrap it up. It's been a pleasure, Ted. I appreciate you joining and filling in for the misses.
Yeah, anytime.
Hopefully everybody learned a little something today. I apologize for some of the technical difficulties we had in getting the clips to you, but everybody will have access to it coming out of here. As always, Ted and I's information was on the slide. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out either via email or any other communication avenue. And enjoy the rest of the presentations this afternoon after lunch. And I'll hand it over to Isad or whoever's going to take over.
Thank you, guys. Great session. Hope everybody got something out of that. It's I know handball is always a difficult topic to comprehend, but Chris and Ted did a fantastic job. So right now we're going to be going to a lunch break period where everybody just go ahead and relax, get some water, a beverage of your choice, enjoy the time off. I do want to do a little bit of a plug here for a mentoring session. Dr. Sandra Serafini is going to be doing a mentoring session for instructors and other mentors. I'm going to be throwing the link into the chat right now. So if we can hold off on the chat for the time being. So if you're interested in joining that session, please click on that link. It's going to be very similar to the process that you had to do where you had to go into another meeting that's going to last from now to about 12:15 or so. So sharing the link right now. There you go. If you're interested in this, please click on there and we will see you there. Other than that, enjoy your lunch period and we'll see you back at, I believe it is 12:30. So